Well, hello again, Gateway students. This is a lesson using Autodesk Inventor 2022 on the server. It's the first lesson I've done using the server-based software. I've provided a link for you to use and open the software. So without further ado, I'll attempt to use it and create the king chess piece and see how it goes. So let's begin. Now, I've already opened the software once. So if you open the software and it gets locked up on you, and after some time, you can just close the tab and try to use the link a second time. And I've had much better luck opening the software as it is doing now on the second attempt. So the software is almost finished loading. And every single time it seems to open to this splash page, I select Start Working, and I select this X up here to close the sub windows. And now I'm going to open my template. So I start with Open, and I have to navigate to Remote User, G Drive. I've made a chess set folder, and I made the chess set pieces in a prior video. So I'm selecting Open. Now that I have my template open, I'm going to put it in front view and start a 2D sketch on my template. And of course, use the pan tool. It's the middle mouse wheel, and then scroll in so you can get a better view. I'm going to create the profile of the king, but I'm not going to include the cross in my profile. I'm just going to have a central axis starting where you see it there. And then, of course, again, use your pan tool. The axis has to be perfectly straight up and down, 90 degrees straight up and down, no stair stepping. And then at the bottom of your king piece, you want to have a perfect L. So you select click, and then draw straight, in this case, for my case, to the right, click. As you can see, I've created the perfect L. Always have your hand and your finger by the escape key. So I hit escape so that I can change tools. I'm switching to the arc tool now, and I'm zooming in on this lower portion, and I'm using a 2-point arc. Select one spot and another spot, and then create a little bit of an arc. You can see on the purple lines there that where my arcs are. And I'm just creating a few to follow the profile. Somewhat close, but it doesn't have to be perfect after all. You can be a bit of a designer and alter the design a bit if you so choose. I'm just creating something similar to the one that's already there. It's just for reference. Your template is just for reference. So anyway, working my way up. Bear with me as I use my middle mouse wheel to pan and my mouse wheel to zoom. And then I revert back to the line tool. Then I revert back to the arc tool. Select one spot and another spot and create a nice arc. One spot, two spots, arc. Every arc and every line segment, end to end to end, all the way around your profile. If there's a tiniest of gap, your object will not revolve. Let me introduce you to the spline tool. Under the line tool, there is the second tool down is called the spline tool. And then in this case, I'm just going to pan down and zoom in on this particular curve. You can select one spot, and then if you follow a more complex curvature, you can click along that curvature, and then it will create a spline. And then, of course, you can click the checkbox to end it. And you can also manipulate the spline by pulling on these handles, you see. But I liked what I had before, so I'll just leave it where it was. Again, press your mouse wheel to pan. Return to the arc tool. Select one, two. And in this case, I'm going back to my line tool. What I want to do is click at the top and make a perfect L so that I have a surface on which to adhere my cross when I get to there. Now I'm going to the final arc to select the top and this arc here, create a little bit of a bulge. Now that I've created this, I could finish sketch. And then I usually go to the browser on the left, find the sketch that I just made. That's sketch 3 in this case. Right click and copy it. Notice I have one tab open here. You're going to leave your template open here and then create a new file. File, new, standard IPT, create. Now this piece is the king that I'm creating. So I'll start a 2D sketch on the XY plane and right click and paste the profile that I just copied from the template. Now it's over here and I don't like that, so I'm going to move it closer to the origin. Use the move tool. So you're going to select your profile. Now that it's selected, select the base point button and then select this lower right corner, click and drag it up and see if you can get it to snap to the origin. Click and then select done. Then if you've done it correctly, you can finish sketch and use the revolve tool and just immediately select the axis and it should revolve a nice clean king piece. All right. So now I'm going to create a plane on which to paste my cross when I draw it. So first, click plane, then move to this browser on the left and find the origin folder and select the plus sign next to it. And then put your cursor over these particular planes. I think I can use the XY plane. Click. In order to make this stick, I'll use this arrow on the rotation cube, turn it to the left, and then I'm going to move the plane and then put it back right where it was. And now that and then click check so that locks your plane right to where you want. As you can see, it's placed right in the center, and I'll leave it in the front view. Now I'll return to my template by selecting the second tab over here and return to, well, here's the portion I'm going to draw. Start a 2D sketch on my plane. Again, I'm going to use the pan tool to bring it back to center here. And I've got an active sketch. As you can see in my browser, sketch 4 is active. And I'll draw, using arcs, this cross. Again, pan tool. I'm still on the arc tool. And interestingly, I'm going to attempt to show you how to mirror. Okay. So now that I've created half the cross, I'm going to try the mirror tool for you. Here's the mirror tool up in the top ribbon. It says select what you want. So I'm going to select all that I've drawn so far. As you can see, I've got all these pieces and only half this arc at the top. Now I select the mirror line button, and this line will serve as my mirror line. Oops, it's not there, so I have to actually draw it, sorry. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to create a mirror line right above my central axis. Now I'll try it again. Back to the mirror tool. Again, the button says select, so I select all that I want to mirror. Now I select mirror line, and then I select my mirror line and apply. And as you can see, it's created a perfect. One word of caution, I think in this case, I want to right click and delete these arcs at the top and return to the arc tool and then just create one arc straight across like this. So that'll be fine. Boom. And then at the bottom, I'll want to place a line straight across from this line up. That's what I want. That's what will end up creating the cross for my king. So I can finish sketch, and it's sketch 4. As you can see, I can make it green by putting my cursor over this sketch 4. So I can right click in the browser and copy. Now I return to my chess pieces template. I'm sorry, my part 1, which is my king. I'm going to start a 2D sketch by clicking on the yellow line of this plane. Click, that's the only way to activate it. Then right click and paste. And there's my cross way over here. So again, I'll have to use the move tool to position it properly. Select it with a marquee, grab base point, any point will do. More importantly, zoom in so that you can position this cross where you want it. You can even use this line. You can use this little line here to center it. Now that it's on my plane in its center, finish, done, and then finish sketch. Now I'll show you what happens when I rotate it a bit and use extrude. You see, what I want to do is use the third tool, the direction, third tool, symmetry, and then adjust the distance. You can actually use this arrow if you want to push it to make it the proper thickness, or I can always, and that looks like it's the proper thickness, so I would just select OK. Of course, right click on the plane, on the yellow line on that plane, and turn off the visibility. And then set it to front view. I am going to highlight the entire piece and then return to my materials list. It says default there, but I want to change it to smooth white. Smooth white. And we'll save this now. File, save as. Remember, remote user, G drive, the chess set folder you should have made, and you can call it King White or King, and then you name the color, and then save. And I'm replacing one that I've previously made. Now that I've saved my king as King White, I want to place a marquee around the entire king again and return to the materials list, find my second color, which was glossy black, and then select File, Save As, and change the name to King Black. And then save. And to do this right, you should go to View, change orthographic to perspective, maybe change visual style to realistic. That looks quite nice. Select File, Export, Image, and I recommend selecting Remote User, G Drive, Chess Set, and now you're changing the file format to PNG, and that way you can save it as, well, in this case, King Black PNG. Save. Now it appears that it might be done, so I can return to my file folder. Let's check in the Google Drive. So I'm going to open up my drive, find my chess set folder, and try to locate King Black. King Black PNG. Double click. That's the image you're going to want to turn in for assignment credit. Good luck.